is a very dreary day today on the land. We actually had planned on doing a lot of outside work today, which I guess we're still gonna do, but it's just wet and really foggy. So it makes it harder to do things like plant a garden, which is actually something we were gonna do today. This week we are focusing on something that we wanted to talk to you about, and that is curbside appeal for your shed conversion. This may be something that you don't really care about if you're converting a shed to a house. We don't plan on selling this per se, and I feel like curbside appeal is really more focused on if you do want to sell your house. But our shed is kind of like in the middle of our land, and we want our land to be beautiful, especially the part where the garden is and our house, and we just want it to be filled with lots of beautiful things. So it is actually something that we have spent a little time focusing on. Before we get too deep into that, I do have something that I have to do today, and that is lay grass seed. We've been staring at the dirt, sometimes it's mud, that ground for the entire time we've been here. We've been here for 6 months, and we've just been dreaming about having grass. And we bought the seed last year. We originally came to the land before we moved here and tried to lay our seed out, and we had bought enough, we thought, for an entire acre, but when we went to lay it out, it ran out of it in like 5 seconds. Casey had only got like 2 strips down. So it's funny because now the clover is coming up in that strip. It's coming back already, which that's nice, but it's really splotchy, and it's definitely not enough for us to have a yard, if you will. We have dogs, they get filthy when it rains, we get filthy, everybody's tracking mud inside, and we just don't want to be that muddy all the time. Tonight it's actually possibly going to hit freezing, like right at 32. Maybe not, but that's what is possible. And the ground is wet right now, so it's a perfect time for me to lay the seed. If you lay clover on the ground right before it freezes, when it freezes, the ground contracts and allows the seed to go into the ground instead of rolling away. So we're hoping to use these 2 things to our advantage. One, that the ground is already wet, and that it's gonna freeze tonight. So I've got 4 bags of this clover seed, and the reason we chose clover is because clover doesn't have to be mowed as much as regular grass does. You do have to mow it, but grass gets really tall, and clover can get tall, but it's not going to get as tall as a grass could. Our plan actually was to have mini clover, but when we bought this clover seed, we just thought it was way too much money, and mini clover you don't have to mow, so that's kind of why we were going with clover versus a grass. So I'm going to pull this clover seed out and go get our spreader and work on kind of spreading clover anywhere that there is mud. If clover grows everywhere that there's bare ground right now, and then we like move this pile of wood chips and there's a bare circle, I'll just lay some more seed down. No big deal. We'll just be very happy to have any patches of grass or something to walk on besides mud. That will be very exciting to us.
Like a wild man, sleeping like a child. You're so luminous and vibrant. I'm always in bloom for you. Always in bloom. Always in bloom for you. Times I've stranded away, and I'm not sure. Although a stranger in this continent, I'm always in bloom for you. Always in bloom, always in bloom for you. An infatuated light. Although it hurts me.
So all these little tiny fuzzy things are baby peaches. Okay, so we have had these trees for like a month maybe, and it was very easy when a frost came and they were full of blooms to put them and keep them protected. Otherwise, if they had been planted, the temperature dropped so quickly, even covering them probably wouldn't have saved them. So peaches are kind of tricky around here because of a late frost. You're not really supposed to let them go to have peaches. Especially once we plant them, they really need to exert all their energy to producing roots. And overall, it'll make it a stronger, healthier tree. I'm tempted to leave it in the pot and just sacrifice it and just plant a different one next year or something. Because these trees are like, I think we got it for like $20, $24. I'm like, if I could get all these peaches this year, and even if the tree were to die, I'd be like, maybe that's worth it. I don't know. Obviously, and like, I'm afraid if I plant it right now that it will, the shock will be too much and all that kind of stuff. Also, peaches around here get several different diseases, so it's like a lot easier to protect it when it's in this little pot. I've never had this before, so it's very exciting.
We're back outside working today, and I wanted to get back to our conversation about curb appeal. So the whole thing really for us is just to be able to have people come over and to feel like this is a home, that it looks like a home. And obviously homes can look like all kinds of things, but we definitely have a certain idea in our head of what that is. And so I'm just going to tell you some things that we did to make our shed look more like a home and less like a shed. So the first thing we did was we orientated our shed long ways. So when you come on to our property and look at our house, you're looking at the shed from the side instead of like from the long side instead of the short side. So this would be the short side, and then the front is the long side. This allows you to do things like put your door on the front and have two windows, and it looks more house-like and less shed-like if you do it like that. When you do it this way, usually that's kind of how a shed is laid out. The doors, like the barn doors or whatever, will be on this side, and then it's however long you want it to be. And when you buy the shed and it has a porch already built onto it, it'll be on this side. They are starting to make them more where there's like a porch built into it on the long side, and those do look more like cabins and less like a shed. But yeah, that is the first thing we did to kind of make this look like our home. The second thing we did was we built this awning. We have a whole video about how we did that, so I will definitely link to that here. That is actually a double duty thing. I talk about that more in the video, but it is to prevent water from coming inside the side of the shed through that doorway, but it also makes it look a lot more like a home. And the third thing that we are doing is what we're going to work on today, and that is landscaping. I already put the grass seed down. That's something that most homes have, and it definitely will make this fit into our land more when there is grass and it isn't just a big pile of bare ground and dirt. I think that's definitely going to make this a more seamless, like it's supposed to be here kind of house. We're also adding some garden beds to the front. So this looks like a mess right now, but we've already started a garden bed on this side, and today we're going to do it on the other side. So we have a good amount of experience planting flower beds, and this is something that we wanted to do here. We wanted to make sure that we had some pretty flowers in the front of the house, and so that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to kind of show you our thought process behind how we did it and how we're doing it. This side of the porch, there's no garden bed yet, and as you can see the blocks under our house, and of course when you put skirting on you don't see those anymore, but we aren't putting skirting on right now, and this garden bed is going to cover that up. And also we need to build it. This is also where we cut our wood, because we'll take our firewood from over there, cut it into the right size, split it here. So we're gonna have to move our splitting station. Hopefully we won't need to use that much more this season. We're gonna go ahead and get started building this garden bed. Okay, we have finished building the garden bed. It took us about all day.
I don't understand why. When you look at it, it don't make any sense, but it did. The ground is unlevel, which, side note, if you have the money, I would highly suggest, even if you buy 1,000 acres of land, to pay someone to level the whole 1,000 acres. Because having uneven land is such a pain in the butt. It just makes everything harder.
Every time we build anything, basically, we have to level, which you would have to do if you got your land leveled. But this garden bed on this side is actually deeper than the other one, deeper off the ground, because the ground is really low on this side of the house and it's a little higher on this side of the house. So here it is. You say, why did it take all day? But it did. And now we're going to fill it with soil and stuff.
So on this side, because it's so much lower, I'm putting just some sticks and logs and whatever, because we have enough soil for how much it took to fill that bed up over there, which is not as deep. So anyway, I'm just putting wood down at the bottom. We have topsoil and compost that we're putting in here at like a 1-to-1 ratio. We also have some leftover potting soil mix, so we'll just put that in there. We put the soil in on the other bed in like 2 seconds. So this part is so fast, and it's the most rewarding for sure. The building the bed is what takes so long, obviously.
It looks so orange out here, even on the camera. So I've laid all the plants out. This just mirrors what's over there. But our design is that there basically are 3 rows. There are 3 hydrangeas in the back row that are going to get very large. And then we have some plants that are really tall, like foxglove and delphinium. And I forget what the other thing is, but those will kind of be like in a few little places sort of behind the hydrangeas. Then we have this second row that is like mid-sized heights, and then this front row is the lower plants. We actually have a lot of stuff that we're packing in here. We're always a little afraid of dead space. We want the garden to be full. We want it to be cottagey. All the stuff in here has the same kind of color palette. It's like purples, kind of like magentas, whites, and like all shades of purple. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, pinky purple.
Pinky purple, white-ish, all that together. So all that's left to do is plant these and mulch it, and that will complete our curb appeal efforts for this shed that we are converting into our home. If you aren't already a subscriber, we post a lot about turning this shed into our tiny home. We also have an off-grid homestead, so we post about all things off-grid and homesteading, so definitely subscribe if you like any of those things. We post a video every Sunday, so come back next Sunday to see more of what we're doing.